Well, hello, everybody. It is Wednesday, and if I'm here and you're here, you must have stumbled into or craftily found engagement. Welcome to engagement. So, you've heard me say this once or twice before. People say to me all the time, "Hey, Doug, you're a wedding officiant." That's why it says Doug Wedding Officiant on the frame there. And you have this channel that you talk to people on, and it's called engagement. And is that because it's for people that are getting engaged? And I say, heck no, except for when we run our period of time to talk to people in the wedding world, those professionals that are there to help you get ready and organized and make your day fantastic. But other than that, engagement to me means coming together to have a chit chat, have a talk, meet with people. And if you know me, you know I love to chit chat and I love to meet people, and I find it good for the soul. And if I can share their wisdom with others, so much the better. So this is episode 8. Wow. Season 7, and we've done this now for 3 years. And I want to bring in some professionals to help you plan your wedding. And we realize that a wedding is a very big event. So whether you call it an event, could be corporate, what have you, or a wedding event, at the end of the day, the subtext here is it's an event. So today it's a little more unique in that we're talking about something very specific that doesn't necessarily happen with corporate that I know of. I could be wrong. And that's honeymoons. So I went to a friend of mine, Darlene, from Maritime Travel, to say, hey, let's talk about honeymoons because it's a really important thing to do. So I've got Darlene right here. There you are, Darlene. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Doug?
I'm good. So, Darlene, I'm a little older than you, and I've always loved weddings. And I remember vividly as a kid going to weddings, and the wedding would happen at a church. Typically, that back in the day, always happened at churches. Now it's like about 5, maybe 6%. It's starting to creep up. 6% of weddings happen at churches. Then you go to we used to go to the venue and the reception hall and have a reception and dinner and cake and all that, and it was all a really big deal. And then it was that magical moment where the bride and groom would just quietly disappear, and then they'd come back changed in their travel clothes. Back in the day when people got on planes looking nice, not just wearing juicy sweatpants and baggy shirts and hoodies, and they'd leave for their honeymoon in their travel clothes, and the honeymoon was as big of a deal as the wedding. And you know, gosh, I hope it comes back because it was so cool. Like the couple would go off in their dapper attire, and they just disappeared, and everything just took care of itself. And we know in this day and age, weddings is a lot of work that happens, after the service is over. The cleanup and getting the gift somewhere and all of that. But let's hope that someday travel comes back like that, and people get dressed up and whisk off to their honeymoon. And if they've done so, they have probably, hopefully, came to a travel agent to get some advice, get some help, because it's a lot to navigate. So you are a travel agent. Tell me about what you do and where you're at, and inform the fine people that are watching.
Well, I am a travel agent. I'm at Maritime Travel in Chatham here. It's formerly Forsyth Travel for
Yep.
you who are familiar with it on Thames Street here in Chatham across from the river. And we do all types of travel, including honeymoons. And as you said, Doug, there was the day when, and I'm probably close to your age as well. I think we're born in the same year, but we remember those days when people were whisked off to their honeymoons right from their reception.
Mhm.
Basically, it would go off on their honeymoon the next day. People don't do that today. Many people wait for a few months after their wedding. Some people still go the day after, but it all depends on your own style. As in weddings have changed a lot, so have honeymoons. And so we offer all types of travel anywhere in the world that people are interested in doing. Your dream honeymoon and just an oyster to me. Just open it up in the pearls there, and I can help you find it. That's really what we do. And the best thing to do is come and see me or my colleague and sit with us and talk to us about your hopes, your dreams, your budget, whatever it is that is important to you, and we can help you put that together. And that's really what we do.
Perfect. So I've grabbed some pictures off of the interweb that I thought were kind of important. So I want to show a few shots from your company, from your home base.
Mm.
Very relaxing beach to sit on, to enjoy some time, to relax, to recoup. Let's face it, if you planned a wedding and if you've been very involved, you're probably tired. You're probably ready for a break or a mental breakdown. So having, a little beach time, getting your toes in the sand and relaxing is always great. It's a great way to show off your wedding pedicure because you probably have a wedding pedicure done as well, right? But beaches, are they still as hot as ever, in the travel industry?
Absolutely. Everybody wants that quintessential beach vacation where they can put their feet in the sand and listen to the waves on the beach and swim in the pool and swim up bar and have, someone serve them and take care of them after this huge event.
Mhm.
So it's definitely absolutely still popular. People want to do some different things as well. Some people want to go to Europe. Some people want to just, have the city life and not necessarily the beach. If you are, kind of my color and you burn like bacon, it's sometimes you want to do a little bit of both, a little city, a little bit of beach, is fun as well. But I think that absolutely the quintessential beach vacation is what people are looking for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when
Absolutely.
we had talked earlier, Doug, if you know about some of the most popular places right now,
Yep.
so some of them are Turks and Caicos and Sicily, or even, and you had mentioned Montana.
Yeah. So the top of the list right now, based on Brides magazine, which for most brides, that is the Bible, right? They go to the Brides magazine and it's like this thick. And there's always something in there about vacations. Right now, based on the Brides magazine, Sicily, which looks like this, is one of the most popular sought after spots. Now that could be because of the movie the show White Lotus has been filmed there, and it's very popular, and they have a bit of uptick. Second is Turks and Caicos, which you can ride a horse into the water and beautiful turquoise water, and you can really enjoy yourself. And I didn't realize Montana was so popular until you told me why. Tell us why.
Well, Montana is very popular thanks to the show Yellowstone.
Yes.
And I have watched the show, and if you watch it, it's, you can't stop watching it. It's fantastic and it's beautiful, especially if you're from the Chatham-Kent area where it's pretty flat. Montana is spectacular for the mountains and the pastures, and it really is that beautiful. So if you're interested in that, definitely we can put you there as well.
Excellent. Now, the other popular thing to do on vacation, whether it's your honeymoon or not, is to get married on a resort. So here's a great shot. Wedding bouquet. Lovers in the sand. Can you help with that as well? Can you help with the whole destination weddings?
We absolutely can help with the destination weddings. We have a lot of options for destination weddings, whether it's just the two of you going or you have a party of 100. We put that together for you. Absolutely. Some of the destinations require different things depending on the type of weddings you want. And that's something really important, Doug, is that sort of marrying what you do and what I do is that some people have to have a civil ceremony here in Ontario before you go down to your destination to get married, because the weddings there are not actual legal weddings. They're more of a renewal service, but they're in a wedding setting. So many people get married here at a civil ceremony in town and then go down there and have their kind of second wedding with their family and friends. Other people like to get legally married in a country, but that takes a lot of paperwork and some very specific documents that you need. But we can help you with that as well if that's something that you would like to do. We can help you with all the steps that it takes to get married, whether you get married here or whether you get married there.
I see it a lot. I do a lot of weddings, either pre symbolic vacation wedding or post wedding. And I tell people all the time, you know what? If I do your service as a private, on land elopement, if you want to call it anything other than that, with your best man and your maid of honor, whoever's witnessing, and you go off and get married, and it happens there again 4 days later, you can celebrate both, or you can pick one. Whichever date you want to choose as your wedding date is up to you. So I see a lot of it, and actually had a situation where someone didn't know that, and they had gone off, had a huge wedding, came back and didn't realize they had to do one in Ontario, and were married for about 3 years, had a baby, and I had to do it 3 years later because they decided to change their name, 3 years after it happened. And the government's very strict on making sure that you have proper documentation. So if it's some places you have to prove you're married in out of country that are recognized, and some places are not recognized, and you have to have it on Ontario soil. So in comes someone like myself to make that still special and important and legal, which is really important as well. So
yeah, I think that's part of the help of a travel agent, is that we can give you the information you need about your wedding. You wouldn't know that your symbolic wedding in another country isn't recognized in the country of Canada or the province of Ontario. So without that knowledge, travel agent, you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
Good example.
It's a genuinely, truly an honest mistake. So not the wedding, not the marriage.
No, never
just the actual service. So here's also another great, who doesn't love a great beach with kind of high-end service, tranquil, waters, and another one here, of course, the poor guy in the suit. I feel for him bringing cocktails to people that are, but talk to us about some of the, what are you seeing right now in the way of people requesting locations? We're going into spring, obviously, so maybe they're not looking for something hot. Hawaii was a hot spot for a lot of years on everyone's agenda for honeymoon. Like what's going on in the travel industry
right now? For summer weddings, people are looking at going to Europe. Some people are looking at Caribbean still, but again, the knowledge of a travel agent is helpful to say to you, well, the Caribbean is beautiful, but in the summertime, it could be rainy season in most of the Caribbean, or even hurricane season, which is something we want to avoid sending our clients to. And so Europe is quite popular. Parts of Canada and the United States are always popular. But that's, again, where our knowledge and experience comes in to say to you, these are the places that we would recommend at this time of year. So for summer, we recommend, somewhere in Canada or United States and Europe for sure, somewhere where you're not going to end up in rainy season or a hurricane is pretty good for you and us.
Yeah. Who wants that? I got married and ran into a hurricane. Very, very true. So I worked a little bit in the tourism industry many years ago, and it was during 9/11, and I know that I discovered then, when we have something that's a major upset in the world, whether it be 9/11 or a pandemic, maybe that tourism and travel is the first thing hit. And it's usually the last thing to recover. So we like to think that the pandemic is in a rearview mirror. Hopefully, I think it is. How's travel been? Is it bouncing back? Are we seeing more and more people come through that want to travel? And I know I do. I want to travel as much as I possibly can. But are you seeing a lot more return?
We are absolutely seeing a huge return to travel, and a huge return to using a travel agent. I think is important as well, because we're there to help you, assist you, whether it's a pandemic or, unfortunately another 9/11 situation, hopefully never again. But in any situation, we're there to help you. We work for you. We work with you. And so when you book with a travel agent, that's our job, is to take care of you. And so travel has come back huge. People are coming back to travel agents because they want that security, that sense that someone is helping them with their trip. And if you book it online on your own, you don't necessarily know all of the things that are there to help you should something happen while you're away.
Now, this is very true. Now, for anyone that knows me or knows my family or knows my spouse, and this is not, I'm not uncommon for most. I mean, I like to think that I'm different, but I'm really not. Um, my I'm the spender. My wife is the saver. She's very frugal. So when you look at a vacation, which is a luxury, right? It's a luxury these days to go on vacation. She looks for the most inexpensive way to go. I look for the most prudent, sound way to go. And I didn't know this until recently, and you taught me this. So kudos to you. Cruising has come back huge, right? And I love cruising. Who doesn't? I mean, you get pampered. It's enjoyable. It's a floating hotel. You go to sleep on your first night. You wake up in a different port. Go to sleep the next night. You wake up in a different port. Like, you move around. I didn't know this, so explain to people about ordering your flight ticket in conjunction through a travel agent for your cruise.
Oh, absolutely. So many of the cruise lines offer air with your cruise ticket. So you book your cruise and your air together. The advantage to that is if, for any reason, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's weather, whether it's some other world issue, if your air doesn't go, or your airline doesn't fly the day that you're supposed to fly to meet your cruise ship, if you book the trip, the airline with your cruise, the airline has to catch you up to the cruise line. So the cruise line will make sure that if your trip from Detroit or Toronto to Miami is canceled and your cruise has to leave, the ship leaves, they have thousands of people on board that want to go, and the one person that isn't there can't make it yet. The cruise line will make sure that when you do finally get to Miami, that they catch you up to wherever the cruise ship may be. And they guarantee that if you book the air with them. If you book the air separately, which you can do, you can purchase your cruise and then purchase your air separately, then that there is no guarantee. The airline that you book with and that air that you choose to book takes you from A to B, but it doesn't get you onto the ship wherever the ship may be, should the ship have to go without you.
Right.
And that's a huge expense to you that can be avoided if you book the air with the cruise ship, if it's available.
Nice. Good. All the things you need to know when you work with a professional, or all the things you don't know when you work with a professional. So thank you very much for that. I want you to stick around, because speaking of professionals, we have another pro that I want to talk to. And I know that we try to marry the talks for our Wedding Pro series, that kind of go together. That doesn't always happen. I mean, I make it look easy, I know, but it doesn't always happen like that. So we're talking post-wedding honeymoon and pre-wedding decoration, because it's important. And right now, the trend in decoration would be balloons. And so I'm really thrilled to have Olivia from Balloons by Olivia in the wings to talk to us today. Olivia, there are you. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. You do something as unique as a travel agent in the way of making something unique for the people to see and to enjoy. You make some eye candy, if you will. And I want to talk about what you do, because I've actually seen some of your work and I thought it was quite cool. And you make balloons. I've got this picture right here. That's you.
That's me.
Do you guys call that like a spray back there, or a cascade, or?
So that the balloon garland is actually attached to the greenery wall that I rent out as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So as you said, balloon garlands have been, I'll add in a little balloon pun there, popping off.
Ah,
Yeah, more and more people have been requesting them for their events, from birthday parties to, of course, bridal showers and weddings.
Mhm.
So the balloon garlands are such a great addition to your event, whether it be a backdrop for photos or decoration behind a food table, dessert table, that sort of thing. I see it quite a variety of what brides and other people wanting balloon garlands want to see at their events. Um, yeah, it's been really great to be a part of people's process and their journey toward their big day.
Well, you have. I had another decorator on one of our other episodes, so you can watch those. Actually, they live still on Facebook or on YouTube in our past series. And I talked about how it's important whether this is a wedding event or a corporate event. It could be a baby shower event. It's still
Mhm.
an event, and that now, granted, also an event planner, so it kind of I look at it from a different perspective, but to have the decoration, that kind of wow moment that kind of pops, as you said, is kind of important. Like this one here, I thought was very cool,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. And
Colors are on point right now because everyone loves the rose champagne colors that are out there right now.
rose color,
Yeah.
champagne, sage green is very
Yes.
popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Uh,
this one here is really cool too.
yes. So that arrangement is a great option for people who want something smaller that could go on a table, or even something that just complements the rest of the garland. So, say they have a big garland that's hanging up for a backdrop and they want some balloons somewhere else in the room.
Mhm.
Those are some good options there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can only think it's got to be a bit of uh, a juggling act. You got all these balloons. You're you know, carting them from location A to location B, and I'm sure some of them either lose air or pop, or Lord knows what happens. So, tell me about the whole process. Like, how do you get them there? Do you do it on site? Maybe I have no idea.
Yeah, so it is quite the process. So, what typically happens after I connect with the bride and we discuss colors and I send them a template or a sample rather of their colors that they think they like, I inflate most of the balloons at home ahead of time just to save myself time on location at the site so that I can be in and out in quickest time possible, depending on the venue and or if it's at someone's house, that sort of thing. So I inflate the balloons. I grab big plastic garbage bags, put my balloons in there to try to avoid any popping as we travel from site to site. So once we get there, I start my install. So I'll hang up the garland, and the garland is, I kind of call it bare bones, where it's my most popular size is that 8-foot garland. So I'll hang up the 8-foot garland and then I'll start inflating some smaller balloon clusters. So the clusters are about anywhere from 4 to 8 balloons. I can do different cluster sizes and then fill in different parts of the garland to add more dimension, give it that shape. So that's one of the benefits of doing an install on location, because I also give the option of brides or anyone can pick up a garland and hang it up themselves. But when I'm on location, I get to do those extra pieces that really make it that wow factor, as you said.
Yeah,
So it's also sometimes too, I'm fighting with those elements, whether it's the rain or the wind.
hmm
Yeah, I'm always
exactly.
thinking
It's
about my.
not as easy as you make it look. So here's a great shot of would be your backdrop, right? For doing selfies or
Yes.
adding to a corner to make it look pretty. You rent that. That's very cool. That would also work really well for if you were putting on, let's say, a travel agent night where you're getting guests into to look at the many offerings you have for cruises or trips. Here's, I think, the same one again, but in different colors.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, that chrome gold is also very popular. People like
Yeah,
that.
well,
Adds
yeah,
a little bit of flair.
gold is very popular yet again, which is awesome.
Mhm.
And right there.
Yeah.
Great for like a engagement party, or a stag and doe, any of those kind of events. And I'm assuming that you could change out the word love to say whatever you wanted to say if it's not a lovey-dovey event, if it's a retirement or
Yeah.
God forbid a funeral. So
that was an outdoor wedding, actually.
was it nice?
Yeah.
Those are always risky. So yeah, I mean, I think you do some phenomenal work. I know that you also do something that is very themed. I have a collage here that you sent me. So from the purple and whites and roses to the greens and sort of corals and whites. I love the little mini lights with the the balloons on top for prom.
Yeah.
The triangle in the bottom left corner.
Mm-hmm.
I see that a lot at weddings because it's a great little sort of mashup of last year's design and this year's design, because balloons have really picked up this year with that sort of triangular geometric shape. I have to say, the kid in me absolutely loves the Christmas garland going through, and of course, on the bottom right corner, that sort of corporate, fun flair of colors as you walk in.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I remember hearing years ago, someone was trying to explain to a parent that they're trying to find a kid's home for a birthday party, and they said just look for the balloons. There's always balloons, and that's still true. That was like probably 20 years ago, because my kids are a lot older now. But balloons are still, they make people happy, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing I really enjoy about what I do is I get to see the joy on people's faces, whether it's small children getting birthday balloons or people at their showers and events. And also just it's usually a celebration, whether it's a first birthday party or anniversary party or milestone birthday. Like you said, bachelorette, a bridal shower. It's been really exciting to be a part of all these different events. And so, as you saw in that collage too, all the garlands are very different. People come to me with their vision. They'll send photos of my work or other people's work, and I try my best to recreate that and get their vision come to life. So it takes
cool.
a lot of time behind the scenes too.
Yep.
But it all comes together, and the smile on people's faces and the pictures they send me after just make it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. Any gender reveals?
Gender reveals, yeah. I don't
any?
have the balloons where they pop them, and something about preparing those ahead of time seems. One time I did have a confetti balloon pop when I was using it in a garland, and that was just a sprinkle of confetti everywhere. So since then I thought, no, I don't know if I could do the gender reveal thing, but garlands people do order.
Yeah, nice. All right, so I want to talk about some professional tips. We've launched, we're about to launch this here. I'll show you. This is I just revealed this last week on our episode. This here is the cover of the wedding planning downloadable guide for couples. And whether you're dealing with Darlene or Olivia, when it comes to planning your entire event, your wedding, you call it an event. I always talk about looking at the full swing through. It's from beginning to end, whether it's maybe having a pre-event engagement party with balloons and excitement, or whether you're thinking about making sure you order your thank you card to go out after the wedding, because some people forget to do that actually, or whether it's booking your vacation for your honeymoon so that you have that memorable time away. And I really do hope that the old-fashioned right after the wedding honeymoons come back into style. I think the couples need that time alone. They've been under a pressure cooker for months or weeks or whatever the case may be, but to be able to go and blow off some of that steam and have time together, just the two of them, is really important. So anyway, we have been talking about tips and tricks that are going into this guide, and I want to get your tips and your tricks as well. So hang on, collect your thoughts. We're going to come right back to you. Now, I'd be remiss and just a downright dumbass fool if I didn't say that our tips and tricks are sponsored by With This Ring Wedding Officiant, one of Chatham's most unique wedding officiants around. That's a shameless plug, but I'm happy to do it. So, Darlene, do you have a tip or a trick for the couples that are getting, they're planning, getting ready to get married, go on a honeymoon?
I would always say to think about your budget, because that's a really difficult conversation to have, but it's a really important one, so that when you come to see me, you're ready with how much you need to spend, and I can help you get that dream honeymoon in your budget. So I think that's really important, Doug. And to have a timeline of when you'd like to go is also really important, to say to me, this is when we want to go, this is how much money we have to spend, and I can help you make that dream come true.
So I've heard the whole budget argument a lot from professionals, and I completely agree with you. If you let your travel agent or your balloon artist or your decorator know what you have, they can tell you what they can do.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with being upfront with how much you have to spend. We realize people have, or hopefully they have, a budget to figure out how much it's going to cost to do a wedding. Weddings aren't cheap. They're not going down in price. They're not on sale. So, plan accordingly and carve out the budget and just figure this is how much money we have. And don't rely on, and this happens a lot. People say they don't do it, but I know they do, is they rely on the money that's in the, the birdhouse or the cage or in the envelopes to fund their honeymoon. You can't really rely on that. So know how much money you have in your pocket to spend, as opposed to hoping how much might be there. Sure, you have a windfall with extra money in the envelopes, then you can do an upgrade. You can maybe upgrade to first class in the plane, or add an excursion on, or
Butler service, or
right.
swim up, or all those things people dream about, right?
Yeah.
All those little extras. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Olivia, any tips for us?
Yeah, so if you're deciding on having a balloon garland at your event, I would say think about the color scheme as well as location. Where would you want to put your balloon garland? Because that helps determine size of the garland. The garland could be 8 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet, 4 feet. So thinking about the location so that you can decide on what size suits also the need as well. Is it for a photo backdrop? Is it for decoration? Determining what it's for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, location is really key. I have had the honor of doing a lot of weddings, especially recently, around an arbor with balloons on it, which has looked gorgeous. My biggest fear is that some unknowing event planner, for lack of a better sort of distinction, would light candles on the floor near it. And I had a wedding that had candles near the balloons, and I rushed up to the Edmund jars, which was very cute. Luckily to find out they were not actually, they were flameless candles, because you're probably putting helium in some of these, or is it all air?
Mine are all air filled.
Okay.
Yeah, but still you want to keep those flames away.
Well, it's plastic. It can melt. It could pop. It could set off a heart attack for someone in the front row. So, or scare the hell out of the officiant, which is never a good thing to do. Let's face it. So, yeah, I mean, these are really important tips to take away, and they're things that people don't always think of, because let's face it, weddings are exciting. There's a lot to plan. There's a lot to do, and sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. So, talk to a pro and get some help wherever you can. So, ladies, any closing words before I send you on your ways?
No, I learned a little from Olivia, which was wonderful. In thinking about a wedding that I would like to have, there's a fireplace in the venue that I was thinking about, and I would have never thought about that for a balloon arch, that might affect that in any way. So thank you for that, Olivia. I appreciate that. And And Doug, I always learn a little something from you, so that's always good too. Thank you.
Good. And I'm sure that if you have a fireplace, especially if it's a gas fireplace with a glass, front on it, I'm sure that Olivia can accommodate, keeping it far enough away and or making sure that the flame is just down enough. There's always a way. Where I say where there's a will, there's a way. They should have named me Will, I suppose. Any last minute thoughts from you, Olivia?
Well, I just want to, thank you for having me on, and I've also too learned a few things, and I appreciate your time and yours as well, Darlene. And it's always great to be a part of the community of people who are here to help out brides and couples, and it's an exciting time for them. And I mean, hopefully one day mine comes soon. So it's always good to get knowledge when I can.
Exactly. There is a tribe of wedding professionals, and I've brought most of them through in the last 8 weeks. I've been doing this for the third year in a row, and there's a lot of professionals out there that are there to help. So reach out to them, tell them what you want, tell them what you're thinking, show them your Pinterest board, show them your wildest dreams, and let them work from there. That's what the pros are for, right? So perfect. Ladies, thank you very much. Hang on while I say goodbye to these fine folks. Well, there you have it. Episode 8, Season 7, our third year, our third roundabout of the Wedding Pro series. These professionals are just that. They are professionals. So reach out to them. If they're good enough to be on my show, they're probably good enough to do your event. So reach out to them. I trust them. You should trust them as well. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.